Hurricane Matthew, evacuations begin. Hurricane Matthew, a lethal storm already blamed for 11 deaths, delivered a sobering wake-up call to Florida Wednesday, a hurricane warning for most of the Atlantic coast that shuttered schools, triggered mandatory evacuations and put billions of dollars of property at risk. While Matthew's impacts to Florida remain highly uncertain, the storm set in motion the state's first major hurricane drill in more than a decade. From Westchester to Daytona Beach, lines formed around gas pumps and in supermarkets, windows boarded up and shelters readied. Miami-Dade and Broward counties canceled schools for the rest of the week, and for the first time, Port Miami sealed its new $1.1 billion tunnel. During a morning address, President Barack Obama warned the storm could be pounding the state as early as tomorrow, leaving little time to prepare. "This is a serious storm. It has already hit Haiti with devastating effect. It is now in the process of moving through the Bahamas," he said. "By tomorrow morning, it will already begin to have significant effect in Florida, and then has the potential to strengthen and move on up the coast." At 2 p.m. Matthew was located about 70 miles south of Long Island, Bahamas, moving at 12 miles per hour. Sustained winds reached 120 miles per hour and may strengthen as the storm moves over warm Bahamian waters. Matthew will likely continue pushing northwestward for the next 2 days, putting it on track to near the Florida coast, or even make landfall Thursday evening. As Matthew's track continues to skirt the Florida coast, forecasters have repeatedly warned that predicting storms that hug the coast can be challenging. Even a slight turn can deliver major impacts. "It's geometry," said former Hurricane Center Director and WPLG hurricane specialist Max Mayfield. "If you draw the Florida Peninsula and you have a track parallel to the peninsula like this one, just a 5 to 10 degree change in motion is going to bring the core onto the coast." On its current track, Matthew should push across the Bahamas Wednesday and Thursday. Computer models show the storm swinging up the Florida coast on a path similar to Hurricane Floyd in 1999, a storm that vexed forecasters as it plodded along, repeatedly threatening to come ashore until it finally landed in North Carolina. "The best model we had at time brought it inland, hitting Palm Beach and going right up the east coast," said Mayfield, a hurricane specialist at the time assigned to forecast the storm. "Matthew has so far been steered by the Bermuda High," said Weather Underground meteorologist Jeff Masters. "Shifts and bulges in the seasonal weather pattern keep nudging Matthew's forecast track." On Tuesday and Wednesday, fluctuations caused computer models to spit out a long-range track that looked like a doomsday prediction, a looping track that had a Matthew circling back for a second blow to Florida and the Bahamas. "If there's any good news," Masters said, "it's that the storm would be a much weaker tropical storm if it does indeed strike twice." As it churns across the Bahamas today and tomorrow, Matthew is expected to deliver heavy rain and storm surge that could reach 15 feet in places, a dangerous threat to the Flat Islands. Early Wednesday, Prime Minister Perry Christie has urged Bahamians to prepare for a worst-case scenario. The country's most populated island, New Providence, was projected to get a direct hit, the first time a major hurricane has landed there since 1929. Bishop Walter Hongel, a minister in one of the most impoverished areas of Nassau, said residents were very worried about their safety, particularly since they live in poorly constructed housing. Governor Rick Scott flew around the state and met with emergency managers to repeat warnings. In briefings throughout the day, he urged residents in barrier islands prone to flooding to evacuate and not wait until the storm hits. About 500 National Guard troops have been activated and will be deployed around the state to assist with evacuations, he added. "This is a dangerous storm. It is never too early to evacuate," he said. Emergencies have been declared in 4 states, all of Florida and South Carolina, eastern and central North Carolina and southeastern Georgia. In South Carolina, Governor Nikki Haley ordered a complete evacuation of the state's coast on Wednesday, amounting to more than 1 million of the state's 4.8 million people. "Our goal is to make sure you get 100 miles away from the coast," Haley said. On Tuesday, Mathew made landfall in western Haiti, causing severe flooding and wind damage, then pivoted and struck Cuba, packing 140 miles per hour winds. Washed-out roads and damaged bridges in Haiti have made much of the Tiburon Peninsula, where Mathew hit hardest, inaccessible. So far, 5 deaths have been confirmed, although authorities are still trying to assess damages. UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon said Wednesday at least 350,000 people need immediate assistance, and that his organization was working to quickly survey the country and provide help. The U.S. government said it was ready to provide relief, and around 300 U.S. Marines set off on the USS Mesa Verde to assist Haiti, the Marines said in a tweet. In Cuba, where more than 377,000 people were evacuated, the storm lashed Timias, Mazi and Baracoa in the easternmost province of Guantanamo on Tuesday night. At its peak, journalists from the radio station La Voz del Sol in Baracoa and television station Primada Vision reported walls shaking. Hurricane Mathew slams Cuba. Storm surges of 10 to 13 feet, with waves as high 25 feet, triggered coastal flooding on the north coasts of Guantanamo and Holguin provinces. Cuba's Institute of Meteorology also reported additional flooding from Las Tunas to Camagüey. Cuban forecasters said rainfall of 4 to 6 inches was expected Wednesday, with more in mountainous areas. At Cuba's Guantanamo Bay Navy Base, which moved about 715 family members to the Florida Panhandle, the base commander reported some downed trees. A section of the base also lost power. Troops were expected to be able to return home,